Welcome to the Solomon Show. Thank you so much for watching. Hope everyone is doing well. On today's panel, we have Gabriel, and we have your one and only host, Solomon. Now let's get right into it. Happy Easter, everybody! We're celebrating all month long on the Solomon Show. We hope you enjoyed the golden rabbit in the last episode. Let's see if we can find him in this one. Now it's story time. Alright, what's the next story?
Am I right or am I wrong for telling my roommate that his boyfriend multi-day stays need to be discussed beforehand?
My roommate's what?
His boyfriend's multi-day stays need to be discussed beforehand.
Okay.
I share a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment with a roommate. We each have our own room and bathroom and share the common space. I work from home from my apartment all day. My roommate recently started dating someone new. Over the past 10 days, he stayed in the apartment 9 out of those days, including multiple nights in a row, without any heads up or discussion. I didn't even know he'd been staying long term until I asked him 3 days into the stay. He's also in the apartment all day while I'm working, which feels like I have less privacy. If someone is going to be there nearly every day for both days and nights, I feel like it needs to be discussed beforehand. My boyfriend sleeps over a couple of nights a week. I limit it to 2 or maybe 3 on occasion, on short overnight visits. He is not present during the day, and these situations feel different from an impact. I want to tell my roommate that multi-day stays, especially daytime stays during the work week, need to be communicated and maybe limited. Yeah.
I mean, not just that, but if they're using the utilities and all this stuff, then they should be contributing to the rent too. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of weird, and I mean, I would just talk to the roommate about it, and if they get mad or have an issue, I mean, technically, the other person not on the lease, you could just talk to the landlord about it. There's people staying here that aren't on the lease, and I don't feel comfortable. And if the landlord still thinks that that's okay, then I would just look into moving elsewhere. That's it? Okay. Now it's time for the quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, "At the end of the day, I'm at peace because my intentions are good and my heart is pure." Now it's story time. Alright, what's the next story?
Wife's weight tripled over time. I have a
I wasn't expecting that. That's really random, okay.
I have a hard time staying attracted. I, 20 male, have been with my wife, 48 female, for 16 years.
Wow.
In the last 6 since we've gotten married, my wife has been gaining a lot of weight, her health rapidly declining. In the last 2 years, she's gained upwards of 100 pounds. When I bring up figuring out how to handle on our health, she either gets angry, laughs, and makes fun of it, or flat out tells me that she isn't interested in that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure if it's related to her weight, but she has started to smell bad and have a horrendous breath. To the point I can smell it from several feet away when we're out on the town. When I bring the odor up or recommend or offer mints, she gets very angry and defensive. She tells me that I'm too sensitive to scents because I notice and comment when people have poor hygiene. She says that people are supposed to smell. Each person has a unique scent and doesn't need to be masked with perfumes or deodorant. I don't need my wife to be a model. Lord knows I'm not. But I have a hard time looking at her from certain angles and being around her stink as it accumulates. We almost never have intercourse because it is very difficult to bring myself to participate. Whenever we do, I pretend that I have orgasm because I really cannot get there between the smells and the morbid obesity. I once had to stop because I could no longer stomach it. She cried for hours and was extremely depressed for a couple of weeks. She kept getting mad and finding reasons why it was me and not anything she may be doing. I have suggested counseling, offered to join her, explained that I'm worried about her health, bought her products for health and hygiene, offered to change my lifestyle to support her. I've even tried telling her I need her to make a change or our marriage is not gonna work, but she hasn't budged on changing her habits. I love my wife. She's still my favorite person in the world, but I am quite simply repulsed by her physically. We haven't been intimate for 7 months now. I can tell it's starting to make her very depressed. I feel selfish and a failure as a husband, but I dread the idea of faking interest and forcing myself to be intimate with her. Do you have any advice on how to help my wife make healthier choices, or is there a different way I should be thinking about this? Thanks for reading this.
I feel like the woman is already depressed. I'm hoping that's the issue. And I would definitely put your foot down and tell her to seek medical help and see if they can put on some meds or something to help her get on track as far as the depression goes. And if she's not going to take her health seriously, honestly, she's not going to live long. And it's harder for you to find somebody when you're older. So if she doesn't care, then I would just move on. You know, your health is everything. So that's what I would do. But I don't think you're doing anything wrong. You're just being honest and you try working out with her. And that's that. So good luck to you. Now it's time for Say Cheese Easter Edition. We got some more Lego animals for you. Let's see if we can figure out what they all are. Alright, what's our next story?
Am I right or am I wrong for telling my mom's boyfriend his son is not my responsibility? My parents divorced when I was 16 and it was messy. I live with my mom now and her boyfriend Mark, who's 43, and son Liam, 11. I'm in my second year of college, which in its own special kind of stress with exams and projects. The dynamic is fine. Usually Mark is okay, but he has a bit of a habit of assuming I'm a newly acquired babysitter. Liam is a good kid, but he wasn't raised properly, which is another entire thing. And he's just 11, he's energetic, loud, very impersonal, and doesn't understand the concept of personal space. This issue happened this past Saturday. I had a massive assignment due on Monday morning, and I was planning on spending the entire weekend at the library on campus. On Saturday morning, as I'm packing my bag, Mark comes to let me know he and Mom are going away, and I need to keep an eye on Liam. I was immediately stressed, so I told him that I can't, and I have to go to uni to focus on my uni work. He waved me off and said it's fine, and I should take him along with me to campus and keep him busy on the tablet. Immediately, I was like,
Wait, time out. I could totally remember those days of you spend all day at school, then all day at the library, and if it wasn't the library, then you go to work. That time is super important, super stressful. I can totally relate about the stuff being thrown at you and whatnot, the responsibilities, but like you need to focus. And it's funny that the dad mentions just give the son the tablet, right? To play on or whatever, and then you wonder why all these kids are on ADHD medications and stuff. It's like they're just so trained to constantly be stimulated instead of like just relaxing, use your imagination, take a breath and stuff. It's quite interesting they mention that. Let's see what happens.
I'm not taking an 11-year-old kid to university
Yeah,
while
I
I need to
agree.
focus on a big submission. I said no, trying to be firm, saying that I cannot be responsible for him for an entire day at my uni. And I asked if he couldn't stay at a friend's or his grandma's or mom's. Mark's face fell and he looked genuinely annoyed. He told me it's just one day and I'm trying to organize stuff with other parents and family. Would it be too much hassle? And that the least I could do was to help out. I couldn't take it honestly, so I snapped. I've been under a lot of pressure for printing assignments and group work, etc. And that was low key the last straw. I told him that Liam is his son, not mine. He's not my responsibility. I didn't choose to have a kid when I wasn't ready, and my obligation is to get my degree and move out. They both went silent for a bit, visibly upset, and after a while, Mark just said it's fine, and that I shouldn't bother asking them favors in the future. My mom later that day texted me and said that I was disrespectful and hurtful, which I did lose my temper slightly, but I feel like they had no right to try and force Liam as my responsibility so last minute.
Yeah, I do think it was kind of strong, kind of harsh, that last part about I didn't choose to have him at a young age when I wasn't ready and stuff. I mean, I understand you try to help your parents out and stuff, and I get it, but at the same time too, like it's challenging going through school, going through college. I think I would have just called the grandma and just asked, can you do me a huge favor? I need you to watch him because I need to do my projects or my work or something. Or some aunt or some uncle, can you watch him for the day? Or worst case scenario, get a babysitter. I don't know. But I think grandma would be first choice. But maybe apologize for being that harsh. But I totally get it. I can totally relate. Hopefully you can repair the relationship and go from there. Good luck to you. Now it's time for some more say cheese. We got more Lego animals. Remember, these are regular Lego size pieces, so you can imagine how long it must have taken to make these. We hope you enjoy. Now it's story time. Alright, what's the next story?
Am I right or am I wrong for leaving the movies after being lied to? I was enjoying a nice night out with my friends, or so I thought. It started out with 5 of us going to this event in our town. While we were the one of my friend's boyfriend joined us halfway through the event. We were all having a good time and had later plans to go watch this new movie at the theater. We left the event and decided to go get dinner at a restaurant. While we were there, I noticed that my friend's boyfriend was texting someone on his phone and smiling, and my friend then looked at his phone and got visibly upset. Remember this because it's important. Dinner ended, and we all made our way to the movies where we all purchased our tickets. We all picked our seats and made it into the theater. I went in to go sit in the seat that I paid for when one of my friends said, "Oh, this seat is for someone else." I then asked who. I got no reply. I then started to enter a flow state where I pieced it all together. I then asked, "Is this seat for so and so? We will call so and so Sally." Sally is somebody that was really good friends until we got into a relationship and ended off on offy terms. However, we decided to remain friends. Nothing bad happened, it just did not work out. However, a week prior to this whole movie fiasco, she said she had said that hanging out with me would be too much. Everybody knew this, by the way. Flash forward to now where my friend's response was yeah. Then I asked why they would invite her and I got no response. I then turned to my roommate and asked the same question. She said that she didn't know until 5 minutes ago that Sally would be there and that she had no part in it. Turns out my friend's boyfriend had invited Sally but left out the part that I was there. That's who he was texting during dinner, by the way. Nobody was even looking me in the eye, nonetheless answering my questions. I sat down and thought for a second. I knew that Sally probably didn't know I was going to be there, that this would be an awkward interaction for the both of us, and neither of us would be able to enjoy the movie. I was also really pressed that my friends would pull one on me like this. I thought that what they did was a bit selfish and inconsiderate to both Sally and I's feelings. I was very frustrated and got up and left. My friends asked where I was going. I said the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and called my best friend, who agreed that what they did was messed up and they came to pick me up. Nobody had texted or called asking where I went or if I was okay. In the end, I guess they got to hang out with the friend that they actually wanted to. I also learned that afterwards they were saying that I was being dramatic and making a big deal out of nothing, but they not only blindsided me, but Sally as well. I'm not expecting anyone to apologize, but also no one did. I don't know, the whole thing just seems super fake and disrespectful. Am I right or am I wrong for leaving?
You are 1,100,000% right. You were with the bigger person. You got up, you excused yourself, and you left. You've been following my words of wisdom. Very good job. Excellent execution. But taking it a step further, I will not talk, hang out, speak to those people until I get an apology, because I would be hella furious. They crossed the line, they crossed your boundaries, and they didn't respect you. It's not that they thought, oh, we'll see how it is, and that they just threw you into the mix. You asked about it, they ignored you, completely dismissed your feelings, and then to say that you're overreacting this and that, you don't need to be around people like that. That is extremely, extremely hurtful, wrong, whatever you want to call it. They owe you a big time apology. Until then, I will not even talk to them. No, 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 no. You need to protect yourself. Mental health is everything right now. You don't need people stabbing you in the back like that. Not cool, so not cool. I like your best friend. Your best friend sounds good. Anything you want to add to that? Alrighty, that's it for now. Alright. Now it's time for Solomon's Words of Wisdom. And guess what? The Golden Rabbit is back! Yay! Hi everybody. So in today's Words of Wisdom, I'm going to be talking to you about cruising. Okay. When I say cruising, I realize I could be taken the wrong way. I mean cruising as in going on ships for vacation, not the other kinds of cruising, okay? So people ask me if I've gone on cruises, what I recommend, how do I do it. So yes, I've been on a few cruises, but let me give you some tips. Number one, if you want to get a good deal, I would definitely recommend booking the trip on Black Friday because you can get the best deals there. Number two, if you're not going to do Black Friday, there's a trick to booking last minute because the cruise ships need to fill up the seats. And so what I do is, which is true, I do get seasick. So I ask them, can you give me something higher because I get seasick? And usually they're able to get you a better spot. The other thing too is once you get on the ship, it can be very overwhelming. My very first cruise, I was super overwhelmed because it was so big. There's so many people. I don't know where anything is. I don't know what to do. I don't know how this works. So I recommend to everybody, when you go to the cruise, show up a couple hours early because then you can get on the boat and there's nobody around. You can explore the ship and stuff because if not, you're kind of stuck exploring when it's super crowded. Now, if that does happen and it's too late, you're already on the ship, the cruise has started, what I recommend is exploring one floor, at least one floor a day. If you can do the full floor, that's good. That way you feel more comfortable because there's so many things to do on the cruise. For you guys that have not been on a cruise before, it's like Las Vegas on water. There's live game shows, there's bingo, there's casino, there's bowling, miniature golfing, karaoke, there's bars, there's dancing classes, you could do paint night. It's like anything you can think of on the water. So what they do is they give you a sheet, a printout every day of all the activities for the day. I recommend circling whatever it is on there that you want to do. Unfortunately, because there's so many things going on, sometimes stuff will overlap and you're going to have to decide which one is going to be the activity of that hour or whatnot. You can also book excursions through the cruise ship, which, if you don't have a lot of time or need extra assistance, then yes, you can go that route. Otherwise, you can totally exit the cruise ship, go, and you can either book it through Expedia, which I love because they've treated me very well through the years and been very helpful through the years, or you can just join a local tour, which you can do through Expedia as well, or just walk out and find a local tour. I recommend Expedia because it's a little bit safer that way, but if you feel adventurous, sure, go out and wander and book your own thing. Some other tips for the cruise is, especially with the pandemic and people being sick and not everybody has the best manners, especially in the buffets, because I'm seeing people like grab stuff with their bare hands and just eat like they're at home or something in the buffet, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to get sick on this cruise. So I just do the sit down dining. What I like to do is the first day, or even if they let you do it before you get on the cruise, just make reservations for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the same across the board every day. With the sit-down dining, you get the same stuff as the buffet, if not better food, and the portions are super small. So, you could try 4 or 5 appetizers, 4 or 5 entrees. The portions are so small, you can kind of try some of everything, and if you want seconds, you're more than welcome to because it is all included anyways. The last thing I want to say is, for people like myself that do get seasick, I recommend doing the tablets, the Meclizine or Dramamine. Meclizine's the generic, Dramamine is a brand. Meclizine obviously is a whole lot cheaper. A lot of insurance companies will cover Meclizine as well over the counter, so you may want to ask your physician to write a prescription to save you some money on that. But in any case, you want to start the Meclizine at least a day or so before you get on the boat. For those of you that are more sensitive to medications, like if you get more drowsy, whatnot, I never experienced a problem, especially because on the ship you're like running around, yay, fun. I never experienced any drowsiness. But if you want, you can go with a lower dose. But like I said, you want to get it in your system at least a day or so before you get on the cruise. So you would just take a tablet, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I like to time it with my friends or family members. So again, the habit of we're sitting down to eat. Okay, everybody, get out your pill. Boom, take your medicine, right? That's number one. Number two, I don't know about you guys, but I do have some friends as well as myself. We love cruises, but every time we come back, we're like, never doing that again. Why? Because we feel like the world is doing this. Woo. We get really bad vertigo for like a week, and it's horrible. It's so annoying. So I learned a little trick on how to kind of minimize that. So they sell these things that are called sea bands, SEA, like the ocean, sea bands, BANDS. So those are used for just kind of motion sickness in general. But somebody taught me that she used that during pregnancy to help with the nausea. And I'm like, I never thought to use it that way. How smart. So for my last cruise, I did the pills and I did the bracelet. So they're basically pressure bands, right? You wear one on each bracelet. There's like a little, I guess, coin type thing, if you will. And the coin goes right here on your vein. So it puts the pressure there to kind of minimize the nausea or the dizziness. So you wear one of those on each bracelet for the duration of the trip. You may want to start a day, early just to kind of get used to it, whatnot. And anyways, when I came back from my trip, it minimized the vertigo to probably hours, which is a godsend because vertigo is crazy annoying. Like, you have to hold onto a table, hold onto a chair or something to stabilize yourself when you're walking, and people think you're drunk but you're not, and then trying to work like that is very annoying. So pills and the C-bands. Now, I know a lot of people want to use the patches and whatnot. That's fine and dandy, but I will tell you, if you're going to go that route, okay, so the patch goes behind the, I don't know if you can see, like right about here behind the ear, right? It's one patch every 3 days. Now, I will tell you, it's supposed to stay on if you swim or in the shower, but guess what? Most of the time, it doesn't. So you see people that get the transparent medical tape and kind of go over the patch to make sure it stays on so it does last those 3 days. The other thing too is, don't be stingy like me. The first time I tried the patches, it was the last day and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to use the patch because it's a waste. It's only going to be 1 day left. So don't do that, because I learned the hard way. We were sitting down to eat breakfast and I was telling my mom, she's like, are you okay? You're not eating. I said, I don't feel good. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm gonna throw up. And she goes, and go to the bathroom. I said, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm so dizzy, I cannot even get up from the table. I cannot move. And she's like, well, then what do you want to do? I said, I don't know, maybe get me a bucket or something. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna throw up. I feel so horrible and I can't move. So luckily the boat docked and the nausea went away, but oh my gosh, it was scary. So don't put yourself in that situation. I recommend the tablets and the bracelet. Oh, one last thing. You need, with all medical patches, you have to be super careful, but with C-band, there's a caveat, okay? When you take off the patch, you fold it in half, and then you put it in the trash. Don't flush it down the toilet. The reason why you fold it in half is so that the medicine stays inside, and if a kid or anybody tries to touch it, ideally they won't get the medicine on their fingers. Now with the C-band, you have to be super careful, because if you don't wash all that stuff off, if that medicine gets on your hands and you don't wash it off and you accidentally rub your eye will be permanently dilated, so you won't be able to see anything. Yeah, you're gonna be stuck like that, and somebody's gonna have to take you to the doctor to put in the medicated drops to reverse that process. So be super careful. That's not something I want to play with. That's not something I recommend to you guys. So just letting you know, I don't really recommend that. So with that being said, oh, one last thing too. When you go on the cruise, I know now they have electronic bingo, but for me personally, I don't drink. Back in the day, I used to play the manual bingo, and since I was the only one sober, if you get it and you don't call it, too bad, so sad. Well, guess what? I was sober. I was alert. I was having the time of my life. Bingo, bingo, bingo. I won, and every time it's free. Now, unfortunately, they have the electronic one, so your chances aren't as high, but I definitely recommend bingo. So, you guys have fun on your cruises? You have any nice stories or tips you want to share? Let me know in the comments below. But besides that, have a great day, great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time.
So, true story. Once upon a time, there was an Easter egg hunt, and a little boy found the golden egg. And when he opened it, there was a $5 bill in there. And the boy goes, "Oh my gosh, whoever made these eggs is cheap. There's only $5. That little boy was lucky I wasn't there that day. Happy Easter. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to always be kind to one another.